podcasts over at wildgamesproductions.com and d20radio.com.
First there was the original.
I thought it might be nice for kids. Keep them off the street, you know.
Then the basic.
This is a simple game.
Then the first version of the advanced.
Good, clean, wholesome fun.
Now the hammer comes down. Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn second edition AD&D podcast ever.
Splatbook 27 of THACO's Hammer. Hi, I'm DM Glen. We're going to sit down and talk about more 2E goodness. With me is my buddy DM Brian.
Good evening, people.
And, of course, the ever-present DM, Full-On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. We're at it again.
You are absolutely spooky sometimes, you know
Yeah.
that?
You can't stop us. You can only hope to contain us.
I know. We're getting near Halloween. It's making me afraid of him. This is part 2 of our...
Pay no attention.
The man behind the curtain, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, let's get right into it with hits and crits.
What do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Oh, we ought to do something. It's Saturday night. I don't want to go bowling like last Saturday. Oh, what do you feel like doing tonight?
I don't know, Ange. What do you feel like doing?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. Brian, what'd you do this week?
Still letting that idea of a little Skype game between the three of us percolate. I was gonna ask you guys because since I'm gonna be running it, my DM muscles have atrophied a little bit because I'm trying to think the last time I ran a game, and it was with my ex-fiance, as a matter of fact. But
with rocks and clubs?
No. We're very good friends. It's all good. But I was just saying, I need to send you guys a little package with like my house rules and stuff like that. And like we talked about in the previous episode, for this one, as something of an experiment, I'm going to ditch the training rules.
All right. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yep. Makes things a lot easier for everyone involved. Oh, by the way, one other question. Do either of you have an issue with NPCs to kind of round things out from what you guys pick?
As long as you're running it, I don't care.
Done. Okay.
How about you, Fawn?
No issues. I'm equally happy multitasking multiple characters or permitting NPCs that I don't kill outright because they're not of a PC variety in the party.
What do you mean?
As long as they're useful. Huh? No, nothing.
Oh, I get it.
The standard player response to the introduction of NPCs of any stripe.
Yeah. That's true.
Don't worry, I'm not that bad.
As long as their last name is Redshirt, we'll be fine.
Oh no, I got something in mind for you two. Oh yeah.
Frodo Redshirt.
Well, actually, he is a halfling, but he ain't Frodo.
Anyway, me, just been running D&D, basic D&D with my grandsons. They're having a lot of fun. I did pick up the Hackmaster Game Master's Guide. Mm-hmm. I thought the first edition DMG was daunting.
I don't doubt that for a moment.
This is like going through molasses.
Wow. Yeah, there are. Yeah, see,
there's a good game
small
system.
Doses. Take it in small doses. Jump over and do the crit charts every once in a while, just as a palate cleanser to rehumorize yourself. Then go back into reading the honor rules.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, Hackmaster was originally done as a joke, and then all of a sudden it just wasn't a joke anymore.
Well, the thing is, it was done as a joke, but they wanted it to be a fully functional joke.
Yeah, and
where you can go, hey, you can actually play this.
Joke is on TSR or Wizards for not taking them seriously enough to let them keep doing it, because I tell you, their rewrites of the classic modules, even if you ignore the tongue-in-cheek portions, of which there are not that many,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The expansion that they did for all those classic modules is just so choice. It's what everybody did to the modules if they were expanding them on their own.
Gotcha.
I agree.
And as far as continuing, I know they came out with Hackmaster Basic where they totally changed the system. But my personal thing is they should have kept on keeping on because, all right, fine, Wizards decided not to give them the license anymore. But, hey, guess what? Hi, we're OSR.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
We got this little thing here. OGL? Yeah. Go ahead. Keep going. Anyway.
In some ways, the OGL license was the best thing and the worst thing for role-playing games in general.
I still consider it the best thing. And you got to take the good with the bad, and I can deal with the bad enough to, Anyway, what's your problem with it?
Oh, well, my whole thing was that, it was the whole thing about how it went. Okay, when TSR went from first edition to second edition, yes, they pushed the majority of stuff towards second edition, but the two systems were not incompatible in the slightest. You could jump back and forth between editions with a minimum of hassle or headache, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
And then when third edition came out and they decided to make, now my main argument about 3E and why I don't like it all that much as a DM, playing it's fine because I can play pretty much anything if I'm interested enough. But the problem was that they took D&D what it was for, the 20 years before, which was a class-based system with skills, as added on flavor, and they reversed it. They made it so class-based and, to where the skills, dictated more than anything else what your character was going to be until you learned how to work the system, so to speak.
Okay, I understand that. I mean, I still think the OGL was the best thing, but at the same time, that's why I don't DM 3.5 anymore.
Yeah, the preparation is way too much.
Because of the skill system and the thing, all of a sudden I had to write out the complete stats of every single frickin' NPC, monster or person that I had to use. Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Too much work.
It was. It was a lot of work. I mean, I run into that with D20 Star Wars, but you know what? I make the sacrifice because it's freaking Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But even in the difference between Star Wars D20, Star Wars Saga, and 3.5 versus 2.0, I didn't have a problem with the transition or with having mooks and being able to do fast stats or loose stats or generic stats for whatever. It's not that hard. You only have to invest in the NPCs, which you'd be investing in anyway. True. And with the options that came out, because I was dealing heavily with all of the players' option stuff for 2E when it was out, I had no problems transitioning to 3E smoothly just because the options were already there. It's what I was already doing.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. You'd already cut your teeth with players' option. I basically took bits and pieces from players' option. I left on the side of the road what I didn't think worked very well, and I kept what I liked a lot. But I kept it, in that vein. That's the whole thing.
Right. Gone are the days where you just write down monster name, hit points, damage, and AC, and go.
Yeah. Yeah, but,
all of a sudden I have to deal with what's their saving throw for this. Oh, shoot. I get it. What's their plus on their strength for this? No, I don't know. I actually came up with a sheet. I think it's in the library at OSR Gaming. I don't know if I put it up there. The D20 Thug Sheet, which was for both D&D and Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It gave you a column of six, stat lines for 6 characters, plus place to put their hit points and to mark them off.
Right.
I was like, this is probably the most useful thing I'm ever going to use in 3.5. I used to make like 5 sheets for every game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's
it
what
made it a lot easier, but at the same time I'm going, why do I have to do all this work?
Well, that was the thing.
Because you love it. That's what I did when I went and I've done up battle cards like they have in Hackmaster for their modules, how they have the battle sheets of all the monsters and all the encounters. I've done that for, say, Night Below. And I did it with my take on Night Below for 3.0, where I was using vitality and wound points.
Mm-hmm.
And I did all the books that way. Well,
yeah.
I completed book 1 and book 2. I never finished book 3, but work in progress.
Right. Yeah, that was the one thing. You know something, speaking of that, my original DM, when I started playing with him again in the mid-90s, or early 90s, I should say, he actually did the vitality points and wound points for 2nd edition. Which was interesting because your wound points were your con, your vitality points were what you gained as a class.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that was actually kind of cool. If when you got down to your wound points, that's when you got named.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of cool.
It made sense. It helped codify what everybody else doesn't understand about hit point systems.
Yeah, it's an abstract system, and it always will be.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we have any emails?
Yeah, we have emails.
Bring them on.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of easy ones. I'm going to go with the oldest ones first. You know, try to get us caught up because, you know, we were away for a month or so.
That tangled web we call emails. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay, this one is from James Hickman, which is, he has a rather, it's a simple question, but the answer may not be so simple. He says, he wants to know how, you know, what it takes to build a keep. Wow, I am tired. Yeah, I know, that's a bad one. I got a question of finding out what it takes to build a keep, as in time it takes to have one built and the gold price in doing so. Is there a chart or is it up to the DM? Any insight would be great. That's a fairly...
Up to the DM.
Yeah. I mean, and if the DM doesn't have, you know, the answers there, I think there's something in the DM's guide.
And if you need some concrete answers, there's a little splat book called the Castle Guide.
Yeah, I was going to get to that.
I was about to say that, and I'm having my son fetch it right now.
It's good to have kids.
I was going to say, it's useful to have kids.
Yes. Go get your daddy a beer. No.
Yeah, but don't you open it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Castle Guide would probably lay it out right out for you.
Yeah, actually, it takes the system that was in the first edition DM's guide and just expands it like all the way out. I mean, they come down. I mean, it's a pretty easy system to learn, and not only that, it also gives the DM, little random incidents that happen during the construction, like, let's say the dwarves don't feel like they're being paid enough and they go on strike or they just stop working. Yeah, because they're not a union.
Yeah, right. They're not a union.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
The Dwarven Union. They're all the same.
Yeah, it's got massive amounts of information on this, from acquiring it, the construction site, average construction time and cost on page 59,
right?
Monthly events, work seasons. It's got unusual castles, whether it's for a warrior, whether it's for rangers, druids, dwarves, elves, whatever, what their strongholds are like. Wizards, it's got all that information at your fingertips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you want to know what? This book will come in handy for when we get to DM's Rag later on in this show.
Really?
Yes, really.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take your word for it.
Okay, trust me. Okay.
So there's your answer. It's usually up to the DM, but if you want concrete answers, try the Castle Guide.
Yes, yeah, the Castle Guide is probably the definitive source.
Shove it under your DM's nose.
Yeah, or just hit him over the head with it and say, "Hey, read this." Okay, we have another email from...
And he'll say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?"
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he might say, "Indeed, I will use this on you."
Yeah. Then you get...
Let me tell you a little story. My grandson, I hit him with a solo one night. He had to go in the graveyard and stop some zombies from being resurrected and all this other stuff. And ever since then, it's like he kept thinking he was going to run into vampire. I said it was a lead. I made the lead zombie tougher, and he says, "You don't turn him. He's a vampire, right?" And now it's like every time we go, we're gonna wait till I said, "Wait till you get down at the bottom of the goblins. We're gonna find a vampire." And it's like, grandson, come here. I'm going to tell you something. I know you're afraid because he doesn't want to run into vampires. That's
right.
The whole thing.
But
he's scared.
Yeah.
But I said, let me tell you something.
Healthy attitude to take.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you a little clue. Okay? With DMs, the more you say to them, the more they'll throw them at you.
Yep.
You know, you give them ideas, they will run with it. So you better be careful. You may get what you wanted or not wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I'll throw an old arthritic vampire.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know what? You know what? Let's table that because I'm gonna put that up for another snipe hunt. Did you and Corey do that, by the way, vampires?
I don't believe we did.
All right, good, because I want to do that because I want to talk about vampires in general, and then
what other emails do I have?
Okay. No, don't mind me. We have an email from actually we know him on OSR Gaming as Mr. Roboto.
Not that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
Hey, we're still talking about railroading. Anyway.
Okay, this is a fairly old email, but I'm going to get it out of the way anyway. He said, hey fellas, love the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Before I buy it, is Dragon Mountain its own setting or is it a campaign in another setting? And would it be considered high fantasy or low? And what about high magic or low? Any info on it will help. Thanks.
I believe Dragon Mountain was 2E, wasn't it?
Yes,
it's 2E. It's its own. It's just like Night Below. It's a nondescript, generic thing you can stick into any setting that you want to have it in.
Yeah, they even have little descriptions on each campaign world about where you can put it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Which I wish they did with a lot of their more or less open source adventures or settings. I wish they did that for every last one of them. But they only did it for like several towards the end. Dragon Mountain, high magic, because...
Yeah, it's a mountain of dragons.
Yeah, number one, and it's a mountain of dragons that vanishes and reappears in different campaign worlds every so often.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, if you're the dragons, sure. It's a lot of fun. I liked
Crawl. It was a great movie.
Yeah, Crawl. That was a good movie. High fantasy or low? High.
High. Extremely
high. I mean, it's called mountains. Of course it's going to be high. But anyway, I digress. Okay.
Gritty, hardcore.
Yeah.
Especially when you mess with the kobolds.
Did you have to do that? Did you have to?
Yes.
That's the first thing. You know what? That's the first thing that happens in the whole damn adventure. The
kobolds are coming, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And they're like with high-level magic items, with tactics that, would, make, like I said, make special forces units go, damn, and stuff like that. But, yeah.
So we're talking about a high fantasy hose job here.
Once you get past that, it sort of, levels out.
You want to ballpark a level on this?
Oh God, what did they suggest it as? I'd say at least 10th. At least. I think it's like 10th to 15th, just going off the top of my head.
Is this one of these things like Night Below where it says you start out at one level and by the time you get finished with it, you're like 10 levels higher?
Yeah, I'd say probably about 6 or 7 if you go through it all the way to the end.
Okay.
Without dying, or at least dying and getting raised. We'll see, with Night Below, you can start at first level, and it'll put you all the way up to, 8th or 9th, I think.
Oh, no, It takes you to 20th.
Really?
Yes, that game is designed to be your campaign from 1st to 20th level. We will go into it in detail when we go over that. But I'm holding, courtesy of my minion, the deluxe box set for character levels 10 to 15.
I was right. How about that? I was right on the nose. How about that? I get them right every once in a while. But yeah, this is high level, high magic, high fantasy. I mean, personally, if you can get past well, this is my personal beef, but if you can get past the fact that you've got, freaking kobolds, doing things to take out a 10th level party, if you can get past that and make it work, then yeah, it's worth the money. I would say so.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's okay. Who sent that?
Mr. Roboto did.
Thank you, Mr. Roboto. Domo obligato.
Arigato. Sorry.
There's an echo in here.
Yeah.
You got any more? Hi. got any more emails?
Well, we have one from Wizard of Gondor. Actually, he sent us one.
I've heard from him before.
Yeah. Well, he's like a staple on Dragon's Foot, and he's also gone over to OSR Gaming as well. I've seen him post a couple times.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, not OSR Gaming. Purple Worm. That's where he is.
Yes, Knight of Gondor. Charlie.
Yeah, Knight of Gondor. Yeah, his email is Wizard of Gondor. I apologize. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
He says, Fear THACO's Hammer. Just listen to Splatbook number 24, decent show. However, what do you mean? Oh, never mind. He's bitching at us because he sent us an email.
You're hearing from us now. Ha ha.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, take that.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm going to say that a lot during the emails. Yeah. That guy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, getting on to the meat of the email. On Bastion of Faith, he says, I am now disappointed in not being wise enough at the time to pick up a copy when this came out. I had picked up Tower of Wizardry and was not impressed that much, so decided to save some coin. But from you guys stated, it sounded like something I would have enjoyed and could use it. Yeah, it was good.
Well, you know what? If you're ever in the Oklahoma City area and it's still here, my Half Price Books has it for $8.
Yeah, you could probably figure out a little snail mail deal or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I said I've been known to. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Someone on the show mentioned they liked this product because it gave them the idea of events and places that would be set up near and or around a medieval monastery. I think that was myself and Zach who said that. A resource that I've used many times in the past are the Chronicles of Brother Cadfael by author Ellis Peters. I'm lucky to own the complete DVD collection as well as several of the novels. Though out of print, you're almost guaranteed to find them in any bookstore cheap. Used bookstore, that is. The novels do a decent job portraying life in and around a Benedictine abbey in the 1140s, England or Wales. It shows how abbeys can earn gold beyond donations and healing, such as the renting of estates and holding festivals. It shows the struggles and relationships of the liturgical, that's how it's pronounced, but liturgical and the secular, kingsman versus priest versus brother, freeman versus nobility, and nobility versus nobility. Yeah, that's true. Each book is a murder mystery. On the top of that, the first English Civil War is being fought between the heirs to the English crown, King Stephen and Empress Maud. These books are dripping with campaign inspirations. That's actually a pretty good reference.
Yeah, if it was me being more visually oriented, I'd probably go for the DVD set, which I hear the PBS series or the BBC series is very good.
Well, the BBC in general doesn't put out crap.
I would also add to that the book and movie, The Name of the Rose.
Yes. Yeah, with Sean Connery.
Yeah, which is very, very good depiction of those kind of monasteries.
Yeah.
I'd add to that as well. I'd add to that as well, Lady Hawk.
Yeah.
Lady Hawk, yes.
Yeah, with a corrupt priest at the head of it. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember John Wood being a corrupt priest and Rutger Hauer throwing his sword.
Yeah, which basically, what was that? Was that a bastard sword or was that two-handed?
That was a bastard sword.
That was a bastard sword.
Okay.
That was a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
Being wielded badly by Philippe Gaston the Mouse.
Yes. Going through sewers looking for Jessica Parker. Anyway,
wow. who hadn't developed yet, but that we digress.
Yes.
Anyway, on to the role of the cleric. I agree and disagree with what was said in the program. Yes, the cleric is a fighting holy man, but even though his armor selection is awesome and his THACO becomes decent, not really. His weapon selection is not impressive. Yeah, it is. I mean, if you take him just as a regular cleric, his weapon selection is just fine. Okay. Thus, his real usefulness is a walking Band-Aid. That I disagree with. Unless the GM is very generous with potions of healing, extra healing, the cleric's main job is to patch up the wounded, turn the undead, and later on raising the recently departed. See, that's the kind of attitude that I really, really dislike as a player. And almost more so as a DM. Because a cleric can be more than that. A
lot more. They can be the face man because they have inherent reputation. They're built in knowing and being the authority to speak on subjects. They can get you indoors that would otherwise be closed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Go ahead, Glenn. Go ahead.
No, I was agreeing with him.
Oh, okay. I mean, the whole thing is that it's just, that's the kind of the stereotype that I've seen through the years as a player, who's like, dude, we don't have a cleric. Take a cleric. We need healing. And it's like, no. I mean, if you're just playing a hack and slash game, fine. That's one thing. But, if you're playing a game which has at least a modicum of role-playing in it, then the cleric has to be a lot more than just somebody who heals the wounds and raises the dead and turns the undead. There's more to that.
And besides,
go ahead.
I'll go first. And besides, this showed up in 3E as a takeaway from the house rules that people were using in 2E. Free casting for your cleric. Let them pray for all the utility cleric spells that they want so they can be useful. And just charge them that third level spell or that second level spell when they need to cast healing, they can just convert it and cast it.
Yeah.
That makes the cleric awesome.
Yeah.
And it also, I think the cleric is the perfect class for a new player to play if he doesn't have any idea what he wants to do. Some of them do, but it's like, I just want to play and learn this game, make him play a cleric, because basically you're talking about D&D's greatest hits.
Yeah.
There's a smattering of everything in there. He gets to heal people. He gets to turn undead. He gets his chops in as a fighter.
Yeah.
He gets spells, a smattering of spells later on.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I said, it's almost D&D's greatest hits. So you get an idea what these things are before you decide second character. Okay, I want to play a thief. I want to play a fighter. That kind of thing. You know what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see. He goes on to talk about he used the priest book to create specialty priests, and he lets them either run a quote unquote vanilla cleric or a specialty priest, which is what I do. I used to just do all specialty priests. Then of course I was like, what? That's kind of stupid because not everybody is cut out to be a specialty priest.
But that's all we got in real life.
They're
all specialty priests.
Yeah, no kidding. But different variations on the same damn god.
But then again, if you look back in history, even up until like the 30s and stuff, you had itinerant preachers who were associated with any church, and some of them even didn't have any sect of Christianity or otherwise. They just praised to God and went around and preached to people. So I can see that now.
Right.
And you could see the difference between the battlefield priest and the cloistered cleric and the hedge priest who's just taking care of his flock, of people.
Yep. He's absolutely right. But yeah, that's pretty much what he went into, and that is from our friend Knight of Gondor. Thank you.
Thank you, Knight of Gondor. Appreciate it. Anybody else got any emails? We will read them eventually.
If you're lucky.
Well, we're just cranking up the show again, so I'm sorry, folks. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Give them the number.
405-806-0555.
And, of course, we'll always talk to you on OSR Gaming or D20 Radio or Purple Worm. Hell, we'll even talk to you on Dragon's Foot. We don't care.
Yeah. Just get a hold of us somehow. We'll get back to you. Guarantee it.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Let's go into our first meaty thing, option package.
My personality undergoes a startling change.
You know, you should meet me because I'm a great guy.
I like big fat men like you. When they fall, they make more noise. And sometimes they never get up.
Option package.
Option package, creative campaigning, another DM splat book, number 2133.
Yes, sir.
Now, this is like Campaign Sourcebook and Catacomb Guide sidekick.
I'd say bigger brother, but that's my opinion.
Okay, well, depends on what you want to deal with. Mm-hmm. And this one was kind of done by a group. Tony Pryor, Tony Herring, Norm Ritchie, and Jonathan Tweet, one of the better writers out there. Done in
1993.
Thank you. Print's too small.
Yeah, it is rather small.
And this is like a companion to Campaign Sourcebook. I mean,
yes.
they talk more about like alternative campaigns and how you should research.
Right.
Yeah, this is where it's where you get, if you want to have your Renaissance game with your Three Musketeers swashbucklers with pistols and arquebus and all that, it's in there.
Yep.
Yes.
You want to have your Celtic, Mesopotamian.
I think this kind of inspired them to do the green setting books.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Got single class campaigns, single race campaigns, alternate lands and people. They talk about lost worlds, creating your world, alternate adventures, the master outline, etc.
Right.
They give you examples.
Yeah, they give you little adventures they just cooked up. I mean, they even gave a Lost World campaign setting, which actually is really good.
Yeah. They got a few things. You love what?
That picture of the knight riding the small Allosaurus.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a bonded mount for you.
New ways to do old proficiencies, monsters, powers, old treasures.
Yep.
They talk about freestyle campaigning.
Yeah.
Is that another way of saying sandbox?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what they meant. I mean, it's just one of those where, okay, you're here, where do you go?
Chapter 7's got the medieval mindset, which goes a long way in figuring out your character and the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
They give you a grand tour of all the current, at the time, campaigns. Mm-hmm. And one thing they didn't cover in Chapter 5 that they didn't cover in the Campaign Sourcebook was convention gaming.
Oh, yes.
And handling players. Well, they covered handling players in there, but they talk about convention gaming, which is not something you usually see in something like this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's a very, very good tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of the better ones, yes.
One of the reasons I favor the other one is because I'm not interested in alternate worlds and things like that, and they tend to go heavy on that. And it's like, yeah, that's nice to read, but I wouldn't want to create one.
Right. Right. No, I get that. The whole thing is that, at least I think this is more for the DM who's run, run second edition for a couple of months. I'm talking about back when this first came out. And he's got kind of ideas about making his own homebrew world, but he's not exactly sure, how to go about it.
Or if he wants to run something in a historical setting, kind of like our last emailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a good book to have. This and the and the campaign setting, the green books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you said, this spurred the green books, which are the historical campaign books, which we will get into in future episodes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to get a hold of one of those. I had one, sent it to Corey. Probably the best one, the Celts, too. Although I hear A Mighty Fortress is very well thought of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard that.
But they give a lot of crunch on this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And they go over building an adventure again.
Right.
Well, that's interesting.
What's that?
I just happened to flip through an alternate adventures. It looks like a medieval sideshow and carnival.
Carnival of the Bazaar, yes.
Carnival of the Bazaar, yes. That would be fun to read. That's the kind of alternative things they bring you.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about different historical periods, of course.
Right.
It's just very, very, very useful book. If you're out of ideas for campaigns and stuff, this is one of the ones you should pick up.
Right.
Read.
Yeah, definitely. And if you've got some ideas about, even if it's just adventures, it still gives you the ideas, and then they put the adventures out to show you how you can take those ideas and put them into practice to where, your players are like, whoa, what is that? What does that mean? What's going on here? I mean, just the one adventure, Carnival of the Bizarre, even though I hate to say this, but it was done better in a dungeon adventure, which was kind of the same premise. But even the one in here in creative campaigning shows you, what happens with all of these, with this weird kind of circus kind of thing. And it shows how to use, monsters that players are familiar with, but using them in different ways.
Right. And they have a nice little encounter generator in here in the middle. I mean, I'm not talking about just monsters. We're talking about people here. Like, say, a city encounter. You roll for the race, occupation, character class, as usual. Hated class, hated race, NPC quirks, NPC motivation, which is what I like. You can just pick from these, and it's just a nice little set of charts right there in the middle.
Yeah, and that's just
right before chapter 3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
go ahead.
I'm just looking at new ways. I just threw it open. New ways to use old monsters. Evil monsters you can't kill, teaming up. Evil monsters you must befriend. Remember Old Man Catan?
Yep.
The swamp monster?
Yep.
He becomes your friend. That makes things a heck of a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's definitely true.
Inzeldrin the Green Dragon.
Uh-huh.
Who in Book 1 of Night Below is going to survive fighting giants?
Yeah.
Get the dragon on your side.
Yes, that's what it's there for, exactly.
Yeah, yep. Good monsters you have to fight in the moral dilemma. Oh, no, we can't do that. Otherwise we get into dark fantasy.
Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
But that is, you don't have to go into the moral dilemma real heavy, but if you give them a good monster that has to fight them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of people I heard in the commentary for Fellowship of the Ring about the cave troll.
Yeah.
A lot of people felt sorry for the cave troll because he was just doing it because the goblins were goading him into it.
So?
It's like they were starting to feel sorry for the poor cave troll who got killed.
Oh, please. That cave troll wreaked a lot of havoc and would have taken the Fellowship down if they hadn't done something.
Right, but it was like he didn't have any choice in the matter. It's like, the tree huggers went crazy on that.
Oh,
anyway.
Whatever. They go crazy on anything.
That's true. Creative campaigning.
Yes.
Original list price, 15 big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Another easy flat book to find.
Yeah. Yeah. This
and the campaign source book, they should go like in a set.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say so. Matter of fact, I'd say they should have, increased the price to $25 and combine them.
Yeah. Average price is about $8 used.
Yeah, I'd say probably about that.
I mean, you're not going to find anything more than that on eBay.
Well,
unless it's been autographed by somebody.
No,
that's true.
No, I've seen some second edition supplements go for a ridiculous price on eBay. I mean, my whole thing is that yeah, because the whole thing about eBay is, especially when it took off in like the late 90s, early 2000s, is that people found out that if someone's out there who has the money and wants it bad enough, they'll pay whatever they have to get it. I'm guilty of that.
That's fine on eBay, but when you see the Witchfire trilogy books for sale on Amazon at a listing price by a third-party seller of $120, it's a good book. It's a great adventure. It's not that good.
It's not worth that. No, I agree, 100%.
It's not good enough to warrant $120. No.
Mm-hmm. No. I mean,
anyway. But creative campaigning, good book. Go look for it. And now we are into It's in the Book.
Yes, sir.
You ever go to school, stupid?
Yeah, and I come out the same way.
Is that your idea of an idea?
It's in the book.
It's in the book. It's in the book, Death's Door. 0 or minus 10. Or some other random number.
I go with other.
Yes. I remember making a mistake of that. It says, so who was it who had, it says, when it equals their hit dice, I mean, their hit die that they get for HP, then they're dead.
Oh, that is just cruel.
A D8, if it's a D8, if it's -8, you die.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And I misunderstood. Well, I misunderstood it to say equals his hit dice.
Which means
8th level fighter, he has 72 hit points.
Yeah, if he reaches -72,
72
yeah.
hit points, he's dead. Yeah.
Oops. Yeah. Oops.
Well, there's another way to read that, too. It could be like, you're a first-level character, you get -1. You're a second-level character, you get -2.
You see, even that's you might as well just let him die at 0 if you're going to do that. But
if you're a 15th-level character, you're -15.
If you make it that far.
I've been in fights like that.
Wow. But the whole thing is that, I mean, I've always used -10. Ever since I read about such a thing in I want to say it was in a Dragon article back, way back in the day, like early to mid 80s. And to me it's like, okay, that's good, because you know what, 0 equals dead is just not cool. At least to me.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I'm probably going to contradict myself on something I said aside, but I'd go with -10.
Yeah, -10. Yeah, -10 is more than fair. Especially, see, the whole thing is that if you get knocked down to 0 by an edged weapon, you're bleeding to death. You're unconscious and bleeding to death. If you get knocked,
those hit points are still ticking away.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Now, see, the whole thing is if you get knocked out with a blunt weapon and you're in negatives, I mean, you could technically say you're still quote unquote
internal organs, bleeding.
Yeah,
I do that. I don't differentiate.
Concussion, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if somebody is knocked out to exactly 0 by a blunt weapon, they're just unconscious. They're not going to die. They're just knocked out. That's why I've run it. Yeah. Yeah, basically.
What about you, Full On?
I let them have 0 for whatever puts them there is 0, and they're just unconscious. I don't let them start going into negs from 0. But if anything else, any weapon type whatsoever, put them into negatives, I let them bleed out. But what I do is, instead of just a base 10, I adjust that base 10 by their con adjustment.
Yeah.
If they're healthier and they have like a +3 con adjustment, you might make it to neg 13.
Okay.
If they're frail and they've actually got a penalty to their con, they're going to be dying at like -8 or -6.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you find so many wizard bodies lying around the dungeon.
I've run into, I mean, that's more than fair. I mean, I've also run into those who will actually let their con score be the negative. So
I've seen that too.
Yeah, where if you've got an 18 con, you can go down to -18 hit points before you die.
Uh-huh.
And to me, that's kind of skewing it too far towards the players, at least to me.
Uh-huh. That's for running your Conan Hyborian hardcore game where there's very few clerics around, and you might need to lie there, bleed until you scab over, and then wake up a week later dehydrated and starving.
Yeah.
Going, that sucked!
Yeah. Now, see, in such a low magic, low tech kind of gritty, realistic kind of game. Yeah, that I could see it for that.
That's also a perfect place to use vitality and wound points.
Yeah, that I agree with too.
Yeah. Well, for a while I had hero points.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got that off Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Uh-huh.
Where they'd roll a d10 and they had that many hero points. If you go to negs and die, you can spend one and be unconscious.
Ah. Yes.
You will not die, but you can't do anything.
Yep. Yeah.
The birth of the Force Point and the Destiny Point.
Yes.
Yeah. I think. Warhammer got there first. Mm-hmm. Hero points.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'd still like to do that, but not with my grandson because they're just learning.
Yeah.
They've got to learn the hard way.
Yes, they do, because you learned the hard way.
Right.
We get to inflict it on those who come after us. Yes.
Yes, you can.
You drop to zero, you die.
Yeah.
You can dodge a goblin. You can dodge a ball.
You can
Start
dodge a
throwing
ballista,
daggers
you
at
can dodge a ball.
Yeah, start throwing daggers at him. We're going to toughen you up. But yeah, I go the negative 10, and I like the con idea, the con adjustment, because then it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah, it is.
Point. Once you better hope you get your bleeding stopped at like 8.
Yeah, because any further and you're just going to be dead, and that's just the way it is.
Because to me, it's like, okay, you're losing hit points, but somebody's going to minister to you, even if it isn't the cleric, and if they have any kind of healing, or at least just stop the bleeding.
Yeah.
Stabilize at that point.
Right. And see,
you're
the whole
-2, and they bandage you. You're at -2. That's where you're going to stay.
Yeah, exactly. And that that's an action that any character can take, not just one who is proficient in healing. Anyone can bind someone else's wounds.
I also generally go with that as anyone can say bind wounds, and they're not making a skill check. They don't have a chance to jack it up. They'll just save you and stop you from going lower.
Right.
It's the people who have the healing proficiency who might accidentally tie a tourniquet around your neck and hurt you trying to heal, but that's very rare.
Yeah, in the heat of combat. Yeah,
and that was the next thing I was going to get to. The healing proficiency. I'm not talking about the healing from clerics and stuff, but the skill.
Yes, the skill. Yeah,
How does that affect that?
Well, with healing, you automatically gain 1 to 3 points just by someone administering to you. I mean, it's much more than just first aid or battlefield dressing.
This is one of the few non-weapon proficiencies that is worth the extra slots if it's cross-class.
Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
Because that can keep you alive, that can keep your companions alive.
It can save your party if the cleric's the one who fell down.
Exactly. Yes. You could save the cleric.
Well, physician heal thyself. But anyway.
Yeah.
When the ogre throws the rock, sometimes you don't get the choice.
Yeah.
That's true. I can't bandage myself. It was my hand that got hit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to bandage yourself when you have a broken arm.
Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, that's where the healing proficiency happens. So I'm modifying that. I would do the -10 with the con adjustment. And I would insist at least one character. Well, I don't know if I can do that, but I would like to insist at least one character besides the cleric has healing. It doesn't have to be very high. Just have it.
Yeah. Well, see, that all depends on how many slots they have.
I would if somebody wanted to go ahead and take the initiative and say, okay, I'll take it, I will give them the extra slots just to take healing.
Just to keep them alive.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's
dangerous.
dangerous.
People who refused to take the proficiency but wanted to buy the healer's kit from Aurora's.
That
doesn't help too much.
No.
Everybody
needs a screw in the head every once in a while.
That's true.
Yes.
But like I said, I give them the extra if they wanted to do that. I lost my point. Okay.
This is a great thing to add as a background skill. If somebody wants to do a background thing where they said that they were raised here or brought up among these people, this is the kind of thing that you have no problem whatsoever handing out as a bonus proficiency to someone who has a reason or reasonable excuse why they would have.
Right. And remember, if you're playing that necromancer and you take anatomist, you get healing at cost.
Which is good.
Which is very good.
Well, but who's going to allow someone to play a necromancer, though?
Oh, I don't know.
Hand raised.
Thank you. What the cleric's at? Get the spell slinger over here.
Yeah, quit playing with that dead thing. There's something alive over here you need to take care of.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's
yes, master.
So how would you guys handle it? 0, -10. How does the healing affect it? And maybe con things are good. Con adjustments are good too. So tell us about it. THACOshammer@gmail.com and the usual places. Rule 0.
Rule 0.
One would think you've been doing this all your life.
We'll remember you said that.
I know. I'm sure you hate me just enough.
Rule 0.
Rule 0. Okay, this one's I don't know if I quite get this. Cheating and fudging / player personalities and how to handle them. Are we talking about cheating and fudging on what side of the screen?
Either side.
Talk about both.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, fine. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the DM side.
Okay.
As far as my opinion is, DM fudging, absolutely.
Yeah.
Under certain circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
If deserved.
If deserved. I know I'm going to get a lot of dissension on that, but I don't care.
No, not from me.
I run the game. My responsibility that everybody has a good time.
Right, and that's what some people tend to forget. That's why getting together.
I'm going to throw the caveat in there of having a good time does not mean always winning.
Yeah.
Or even always surviving.
Well, this is true.
There are those who believe survival is its own reward.
This is true. This is true. But if you're going to fudge with, like they said, if you're fudging for the monsters, you better be fudging for the players too.
Yeah, it has to be.
Point.
Well, yeah, that's my whole thing. It has to be. Yeah, it has to be a two-way street. Has to.
Yeah.
Generally, only fudge for the monsters if it's a case of the party is spontaneously suddenly having the massive case of Zen dice and everybody's counter in a round and a half when it's supposed to be epic and dramatic big bad evil guy fight. Mm-hmm. So, boss fights maybe I'll fudge, but doubtful. Yeah. Minions and mooks not so much, but you gotta have a reason for it and be able to justify it more than script immunity or plot immunity. If it's
if you got a bag like me and you see this, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I interrupted.
Sorry, I was just finishing it on the concept of it's not just the DM trying to preserve the PCs or his plot. Either one of those he can try to fudge for, but there has to be a reason and a need for it, and they got to earn it.
Yeah.
But usually, no script immunity.
It's got to be within the context of having fun in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
I mean, I'd cheat for the monsters if they had a bag like mine and there was a pile next to their pile of just D20s they've already rolled. Like this big pile. They're on their 2056 trying to get something that hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Then I start having the monsters miss a little more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, fudging usually comes in with me. Like when Falon was saying, when, it's just, 20s are just flying around, where it's like nobody is rolling under a 19, right. Then it's one of those where, the problem is when 20s are rolling around and, the majority of the players know that a 20 hits automatically, that's a problem, but when it comes down to it, the most fudging I do is for lower level characters, especially those that the players put a lot of time, effort, and thought into creating.
Right, you cut them a little more slack.
Yeah, a little bit more, yeah. I mean...
Thespian characters.
Well, no, not that far. No, all thespians must die, but anyway. See... Well, that goes.
Thespian, go to prison. Yeah. I say that being a thespian.
Yeah, I know.
I'm saying that from the player perspective, not the character perspective.
Because thespians tend to slow the game down a little, more than a little bit. But anyway, I'm not even saying, good role playing is good role playing, but when when the player's going way out of his way to get more than his share of equal time with the DM, then there's a problem. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Even as an actor, I love to role play because it gives me a chance to act, but I am always aware of the game and the DM and the other players. And so I tend to rein myself in.
Right. And you're a rare breed, Glenn. Because you can control yourself.
It's actors training.
Mm-hmm.
The fudging flip side is also when the game is going horribly badly, not because the monsters are critting left, right, and center, or the characters are critting left, right, and center, but what if everyone's rolling ones?
Yeah.
No, it's been 10 rounds and no one has hit anything except friends.
I've seen that.
I had that happen in an encounter last game with my grandsons. They rolled like 3 times initiative, and we both got simultaneous. We couldn't hit each other.
Whiff, whiff, whiff,
Yeah.
whiff, whiff, whiff.
Ones, threes, you know.
Yep. Yeah, but the whole
You're
thing...
very good.
Thank you for the breeze.
But see, the whole thing is that that's okay when that happens because that's going to happen a lot at low level regardless. You know, I mean, only when you get up around 6th, 7th level is when there's a little more consistency, when the THACO numbers start to drop
I'm
significantly.
not even just talking about that. I'm talking about didn't break double digits on a die roll.
No, I've seen
3 fumbles in a row.
Oh, I had a good friend who, there was a session where we were playing D&D. He was playing this, what was he playing? Oh, that's right. He's playing a Priest of Tempest. And, you know, as such, he's always up front, you know, in the monster's face. He's always fighting straight up. And there was one night where he basically threw no less than 4 or 5 D20s because he would roll with 1, he'd go through a couple rounds of combat, and he'd be rolling 2, 3, 6. You know, one time he fumbled. When he fumbled, he picked it up, threw it across the room. just in sheer anger. He picks up another one. Next fight. 5, 7, 4, 3. He picks up and throws that one across the room.
See this trash can full of D20s?
You know, or you know, see that wall over there with all the dents in it?
Yeah.
Where you think every once in a while you got to say, I'm going to do something other than swing a weapon. I'm going to break the habit I'm going to flip the table over and shove people against the wall with it. Anything other than rolling to hit.
Then what happens when you fail your
break the
strength
momentum?
check?
Break. Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to roll low there. It's a strength check.
That's what I'm saying. That's when you start rolling 18s and 19s. I've been in games where it's like when I do proficiency checks, I roll 18s and 19s and 20s, you know, which is of course failure. And then when in combat, I start rolling under 10. And it's just like, this is just not my night. You know, but I mean, on the other end of that spectrum, you know, there was a game that I ran with my ex-roommate who, you know, I've gushed about since I've gotten on THACO's Hammer. And there was one fight where she was playing a martial artist and I was playing like 4 or 5 NPCs, and they go up against this fight with some ogres, and critical hits she started it off with like 3 critical hits, and then the NPCs started getting criticals, and, you know, they're like heads rolling, and, you know, there was 1 critical hit in the groin to an ogre. There was 1 in his spine, breaking his spine and effectively killing him because he was paralyzed.
Ouch.
You know,
Did you find the Dragon Balls? Hadouken!
I'm telling you, don't laugh. She wanted to turn my game into Dragon Ball. Trust me. But basically, you know, and I gave her character 1,000 experience points for coming up with it because she basically said these ogres have no brains, no balls, no backbone, and no leg to stand on in character. I mean, I laughed for 20 minutes straight. You know, it was one of those. But getting back to the fudging issue, you know, usually in low levels, you know, especially when my dice are hot and their dice are ice cold, that's when I fudge.
How do you feel about high levels when you're in a situation where it's the critical situation of the campaign where it turns on the die roll or it turns on the choice?
Ooh, that's, you know what? I've never gotten a campaign. I've never gotten a campaign high enough into that point where it's happened. Usually the characters get their way through. They either take a lot of damage, but they survive at the end, and not because of anything, you know, any creative editing I do. They usually get through it.
As far as I'm concerned, there should never be anything that comes down to 1 die roll.
I agree. I do agree with that, too.
On either side of the DM screen.
I do agree with that, you know, because, you know, nothing would suck more than playing a campaign for 5 years, everything, you know, just comes up to this one culmination to where it's 1 attack roll, it's 1 saving throw, it's 1 damage roll or whatever, and, you know, everything falls to pieces because, you know, it was not, you know, because of random chance. You know, I mean, if it's at that point, I mean, my whole thing is that this comes down to tailoring the encounters, especially when it gets up really high and towards the end of a campaign, is that there needs to be a significant amount of risk. There needs to, even at the end, there needs to be a high amount of risk, but you have to have a backup plan in case things go to crap for the players.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There's
always a backup plan. And you know what the toughest thing is to fudge? When they're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
Somebody has a critical hit they have to make, they roll a 1. How do you fudge your way out of that?
You don't. You don't.
Okay.
You can't.
Yeah, there's been a lot of 9 times out of 10 you just go, oh man, you missed.
Yeah.
But there's that one time. This is why I am a firm advocate of using a DM screen.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I'm also a firm advocate of not telling people target numbers.
Yeah, they figure them out after a couple of rounds anyway.
And even then, there are things that can happen in the course of the play that you don't have to explain that can alter the target number. It might have taken to 17 to hit the guy 2 rounds ago, but you hit him on a 16 today because the gods took mercy on you, or something, or anything, or he pulled his groin. I don't know. He's got a penalty now.
I mean, I stirred up a whole big hornet's nest about that on OSR Gaming when I put that out there, because I thought it was hubris on the part of the people who wrote D&D players' manuals to assume that the DM would tell you the armor class or target number.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That whole thread.
See that because that kind of got my goat. And it's like, I don't know if any DM would tell me what I need. What AC I need to hit.
I wouldn't tell them like that. If they figure it out, fine. I don't care. But it's not something I readily give away.
Right. I mean, that's why you have THACO and reverse engineering on the player's part.
Right.
Yeah, I can say I hit an armor class of 5 because I know what bonuses I have, what's affecting me, and if there's anything else that's at play, that's the GM's job to keep track of and put into effect as required. Yep. I don't need to know about it, and it's best if I don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and that's how it should be.
All the books say the GM tells you his armor class, and no, DM doesn't tell you his armor class.
I've never been in a campaign where that's happened.
No.
Why are they telling people this?
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, it's like, I know they're trying to just tell you the formula, but at the same time they're saying, yeah, he's supposed to do this. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
That is his decision whether he wants to or not.
Right, right. I mean, it's one thing if you figure it out after 2 or 3 rounds of combat, which is well and good, because that's one less thing the DM has to keep track of.
Unless he's going to change it in the course of the complex for whatever reason.
Yeah, well.
Unless you have that rare GM that will actually tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been certain situations where they do. Yeah. Where I told them, like these kids, they don't know what they're doing, so I tell them their armor class, and show them how you figure it out.
Right. Right.
I show them the chart, and I say, look, see, 15 or less. Or
right.
More. Go.
Well, see, but that's different because they're, number one, they're kids, number 2, they're brand new to the game.
Right. But that's the only situation I could think of where you go, okay, their armor class is 6.
Mm-hmm. Eventually, you have to take the training wheels off the dice, man.
That was my next point. It's like I would say after about a month, you take the training wheels off.
Well, the first couple of games, I was telling the armor classes. The last one I played, I was going by the chart.
Mm-hmm.
I was going like, okay, you're fighting a goblin, you need 15 or more.
Mm-hmm. And
after that, it's just like I'm just going to say hit.
Yeah, roll the hit. That's all you have to do.
But I'm slowly taking them out of that.
Right.
So now it's like I look at the chart, 15 or better, go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's fine.
Hit, and then afterwards I'll take that away.
Right. I mean, when I got my girlfriend into playing, that's how I did it because, she, number one, she's brand new to D&D. Number 2, let's just say she has a rather strong hatred for math, or she thinks, let me just leave it at that because I can just get no whole thing about that. But my whole thing is that, okay, I did all of the pre-math for her to where all she needs to do is roll the dice and tell me what you rolled, and I will tell you if you hit or not, and that's it. And then the whole thing is that after a while, after several combats, it will sink in, and then, it's like, okay, roll the hit, and then she can do it herself.
Yeah. You know, I figured the formula out myself. This started Champions, actually. I learned not to do that because, you know, I would say after the third time asking the GM, what's the villain's DCV? And he going, you don't know. About the third time going, okay, I got it. I'm going to have to figure it out for myself.
Yeah, trial and error. Yeah.
Yeah. But, hey, okay, let's go to the other side of the screen, fudging.
Okay.
And character personalities.
Okay.
Do we tolerate it? No.
No. Yeah, characters.
Personalities, yes. Fudging, no.
Yeah, characters. Cooking their own die rolls. No, that is not okay with me at all.
And yet we still get people saying that's not fair.
Life is.
You get to do it.
Damn right.
Let me see your character sheet. You don't have any of this X, Y, or Z you just claimed you were using. You can't do that.
Right. Right. And the whole thing is that if they want to try something that's out of their class, that's fine. It's just they're going to have to roll a probably a percentile die roll with hefty penalties. You know, basically if they roll a 10 or under, they might do it.
And that's why you have the only die rolls that nobody can see is the DMs.
That's right.
They all get rolled out in the open.
Right.
I've had these guys where they have they'd be sitting at the table and they have a box on a divan or something sitting behind him. Mm-hmm. And he says, "Okay, I rolled a hit." He takes his D6 and rolls it in the box behind him.
Yeah, like,
dude, no, bring it on the table here.
Yeah.
I had the guy hold his dice on the book he held in his lap.
Yeah, and that way it just
like playing the friggin' maze game.
Yeah, tilting the book. You know what? As much Brian's Confessions, I've done that. You know, but only the whole thing is
shame on you.
I have none. What are you talking about?
I just put some on you. What are you talking about?
It just rolled off my back like a water on a duck. But anyway,
or the loaded dice.
Loaded dice? Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, we caught a DM using loaded dice. We confiscated his dice.
Oh, that's not cool. See, that's one of those where I just physically attack the DM. I don't care if he's a guy from frickin' Special Forces who can break my neck in 2 seconds. I'd be like, you a-hole. Just go after him. I mean, the game is hard enough without the DM skewing it like that. What the hell?
That's a guy who's way too much into that player versus DM mindset instead of DM presents a world for the players, the good and bad.
Yeah, and you should never have that attitude to begin with.
I have a guy who said, I keep rolling. It's just a game. And he goes, so's craps and blackjack.
Yeah. Yeah, go to your local casino and try to cheat there, see what happens to you.
Yeah, bring those over to the casino, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, they wouldn't let you roll them.
Yep.
At all.
Yep.
But but it gets kind of petty. I mean,
it is.
You know, and they say if they're saying it's not fair, it's like, one, I'm DM, I'm responsible for everybody having a good time.
Yeah.
And it's in the spirit of trying to get the have the adventure. You're just doing it
because you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose. That's what it is. Yeah. And speaking as someone who has done it in the past, that's exactly the attitude I had. I didn't want to lose.
Part of that, something that helps with that, I think, is giving people rewards for losing. Mm-hmm. You may not get as much as you would have if you won, but that's why I have on my XP chart a XP value for trying a thief skill and failing.
Mm-hmm.
You learn what not to do. Dying, you learn what not to do.
You should all have that in life.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. But I mean, as far as players cheating, no, that's just a fireable offense, so to speak.
You shall be smited.
It's not helping the game. It's not helping you. Mm-hmm. It's not helping anybody, really.
No, not really. All it will do is make people mad at you.
Remember, the DM is doing his for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And when you become DM, you get to do it too. So
yeah, so there, yeah. Learn the game well. Make up your own game. Make it fair. Make it fun, and then you'll see when you need to do it. But yeah, okay. But,
okay, guys, waiting for the brick bats. THACOshammer@gmail.com.
Yeah, this ought to be
get
good.
some for this boy.
Yeah.
D20, even sound off a D20 radio or OSR Gaming or Purple Worm. That ought to be so. Give those boards a little, little business. Come on.
Yeah, give them a little love. Yeah, they could use it.
And believe me, they will.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Magic Fingers.
Okay.
Eeny, meeny, chili beanie, the spirits are about to speak.
Well, it just so happens that your friend here is only mostly dead.
Sounds like a lot of supernatural baloney to me.
Supernatural, perhaps. Baloney, perhaps not.
Magic Fingers. Magic Fingers, another spell staple, Lightning Bolt.
Woohoo! Oh yeah.
The spell you get when all your player characters don't want you to throw a fireball anymore.
Yep. Yeah, that's the alternate.
Then they learn the mistake of that decision.
Yeah.
It's also a third level spell.
Mm-hmm.
Along with light fireball. It's an evocation spell.
Uh-huh.
The range is 40 yards plus 10 yards per level, so this one goes up with level 2.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of damage yield, just affects a different place on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Duration instantaneous. Components VSM. Casting time 3 again. And saving throw for half. And the area of effect is special.
Yes. Because you can choose how you want to use the bolt. How you can construct the bolt. You can use a regular straight bolt, which is 5 feet wide and goes out
80 feet.
Yeah, 80 feet. Thank you. Or you can use a forked bolt.
Yeah.
Which is 5.
It's 10 feet wide, 40 feet long.
Yep, 10 feet wide, 40 feet long. Yep. You're right.
Yep. And we're not even going to get into the spell Chain Lightning. So,
Chain Lightning is much more useful.
Isn't there a lightning ball? Isn't there a lightning ball out there too?
That's a 3E spell, and you know what? I adapted it to 2nd edition because I like it so much. That came from playing Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance because one of the characters you had was a sorceress, and once you got that spell and once you mastered that spell, the game became horribly easy.
Yeah. Ball of lightning. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, ball of lightning, yeah. But with Lightning Bolt, now see, this one will have just as much debate as Fireball did, but for a different reason. See,
you don't get the backdraft, but
yeah.
Well, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I have cast Lightning Bolt in a 10x10 room.
Yeah. All I think of is the trash compactor scene from Star Wars.
Yes. Well, I wasn't talking about that. I keep thinking of either outdoors or down a hall.
Well, yeah, outdoors is fine, because you could just basically just hit whatever it is within range of the spell. But when you are in a corridor, there is a problem. If the corridor's not long enough, it will start heading back towards you.
Which is great if you get to hit your enemy twice with it, but sucks when it actually grounds out on the fighter.
Yeah, who's in plate mail armor? Yeah.
I want to develop some kind of special move for spellcasters to deflect it.
Snarfquest, Hillary Windy Arm's Sword of Spell Deflection.
Wow.
Something like the spellcaster shoots the lightning bolt, and you're at the business end, and you just take your staff or something like a baseball bat, bam, and send it back to him.
Counter spell.
Yes.
I cast Lightning Bolt at your Lightning Bolt to make it go away or go back at you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if you both have them, you can have a game of catch or something. And pop, 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 pop. Oh, yeah.
The volley spell is exactly for that.
Yes. Yes. What do they do at playing tennis with a lightning bolt?
Playing pong with a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Works for fireballs, too.
Yeah, wow.
With a little more collateral damage. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little. But you see, the whole thing is with the lightning bolt spell, especially with, and I refer to it again, the gold box games. Because what you could do with the lightning bolt spell is that you could angle it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It was one of
bank
those.
Shot.
Yeah, you could bank shot a lightning bolt. Exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, the other good one was See, the problem is that the lightning bolt in first edition, or at least the way I interpreted it, is that once it hit the target, it went through the target to the end of its range, then came back. But with this, it hits whatever it is, or better yet, if it hits something solid, it will rebound back towards you.
That's what it says on page 194, next to last paragraph. It's about hitting solid objects, not target monsters, but solid objects, things that cause it to reflect in the first place.
Right.
I like Brian's because it's like some guy, an orc standing in the middle of a hall, you shoot a lightning bolt, it goes through him, bounces off the back of the wall, and goes through him again.
Yes.
That's the way it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
That's why you.
As long as I can get out of the way.
You got orcs 20 feet down a hall. It's a 40-foot hall from where you are to the back wall. You start your lightning bolt at your toes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it goes through them, back at you, and stops short, and you're clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Nice.
And they get to save twice.
Yeah.
Another reason is more effective fireball because you can stop it where you want.
Well, yeah, you can target it where you want to.
Yeah,
you're good.
Yeah, well, you can target a fireball, but I mean, it's a lot easier to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's another way that lightning bolt is used that people don't pay attention to.
What's that, Full On? Mr. Full On?
Water. In water, a lightning bolt comes into effect at the origin point and takes up the same area of effect as a fireball spell.
Yes.
We're back into the 33 10 by 10 by 10 cube.
Underwater, no less.
Yes.
It's even more dangerous if you happen to be in, I'm in a 10 by 10 by 10 hallway, standing in ankle deep water.
Yeah, because it conducts through the water. Yeah.
You can fill an entire dungeon level with lightning. When you're in the Iron Tower, the Blue Dragon breathes. Same difference.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, when we were talking about dragons, yeah, you go into a cave and you're standing in about 3 feet of water, and then you hear, you're done. You're toast. You don't get a save. Why? You're standing in water. Water is a conductor of electricity.
I let you have the save. I just let everybody in the entire complex standing in the water have the save.
Well, you know.
You're on a ship. You get attacked by a sea serpent. Some bright boy fires lightning bolt.
Yeah, lightning.
Yep.
How would you fire it at the monster or in the water?
If you're smart, you'll fire it at the monster. If you fire it,
because it'll basically go through the monster and all the way out to the end of its range.
Okay.
Without any harm. But yeah, you cast it at the water.
In the water or underwater? Well, yeah, throw it at the water. But that origin point that you determine for the spell is your center of a 40-foot, 20-foot radius sphere.
Well, I figured if you were on, say, a wooden ship and you had a sea serpent there, you fire it in the water, you basically electrify the water.
Yeah, and wood conducts electricity too.
Wet wood will, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That all the time. You don't want to do that to your boat.
You killed the princess who was down in the hold for protection because you decided to get cute with your lightning bolt. Good luck.
It's not hard in open water. In open water, you're pretty much okay as long as you drop the lightning bolt 20 feet away from you.
Yeah.
It's not going to backwash you as long as you can origin it 20 feet away from you or your ship. If you don't, that's bad.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. You get to deal with the fallout.
You eat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the material components are a bit of fur and an amber crystal or glass rod. Since it doesn't say anything about it not being used up, I assume the rod gets used up.
Yeah, I think both components get used up.
No, I think glass rod. The amber crystal glass rod they keep, but the fur is what they have to keep replacing as it gets smoked.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
You just keep, you fight things, you cut off a bit of fur, It doesn't say what kind of fur.
That's true.
That's the whole thing. That's where I don't have people do it regularly. I let them do it at the beginning of a game where they mention, and I'm going to scrounge for material components of this, that, and the other variety. That just keep restocking my continuous use mundane stuff. And then I even stop asking. I just, bring it up when they're in A4 area of the slave lords.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from?
That's a good question. Yeah, to me, as a DM, I should say, that's the only time where that should be an issue, when there aren't readily available sources of whatever it is they're looking for components. See, I hand wave the whole components thing anyway, because it's just something I don't really care about.
Right.
It's there if you want that depth of complexity to your game. The only thing that I'd probably do is like a set amount of gold pieces per level, once, after you get back from your adventure or whatever, to restock your components. That's about it.
Gotcha.
Unless it's called out as a specific item, like the material component for stone skin.
Yeah, 1,000 gold piece gem, or a diamond, I think.
Diamond dust, yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
that's special, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Now, I keep somebody says, "Hey, who scalped the werewolf?"
Here's another special thing about lightning bolt, unlike fireball. Fireball specifically calls out that it does not overpressure. As in, it doesn't have any pressure to it. It's just an instant flash of flame that does instant damage. It's not persistent. Lightning bolt gives you several paragraphs about how much physical damage it will do to structures, items, and objects.
Right.
Exactly.
Up to a half-foot thickness of stone.
Then again,
cheap tunneling.
Cheap tunneling. Yeah.
Wand of lightning bolts. Kazak, kazak.
Yeah, it even says it breaches stone and wood and, basically...
Fireballs don't have pressure, but then again, they do light things on fire.
Yes, they do.
It's a save versus magical fire, but again, that's why I have no shame throwing a lightning bolt or a fireball out in the woods, on the dry savannah.
Wow. Okay. You're a braver man than I, Gunga Din.
As long as I am upwind, yes.
Oh yeah, then the fire becomes someone else's problem, right?
Yep.
You're terrible. Anyway, let's move on.
Yes, lightning bolt. Give us some lightning bolt stories. THACOShammer@gmail.com and the other places. DM Rag.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's quite a story.
I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
And here it comes, right over the old plate.
The DM's Rag. DM's Rag. Okay, Brian, you're taking point on this. Dragon Annuals 1 and 2, Wormsmere and Dragonweir. These are modules?
Yes, they're actually dungeon adventures they put in their Dragon Annuals.
Because it was special.
Right. Well, they put this one in, and because the first one did so well, they did it for the second annual, which was year, 2000?
Yeah, believe it or not.
No, I'm sorry. No, this was 96 and number 2 was 97. Gotcha. But yes, these were both done by Chris Perkins, who I believe went on to be one of the better writers for TSR and going into the WotC era, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Basically, what these adventures are, it starts basically in a town with this shop called Arizona Adventuring Gear, and you have the proprietor who says, this green dragon basically stole some potions, and I want you, or this Naga stole some potions, and I want you to return them to me. They were mine.
A Naga?
Well, not Naga. A Naga who, God, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Naga hired an adventuring party, they charmed an adventuring party to steal potions of dragon control from the proprietor.
Ooh.
Yeah. And basically he hired you to get them back. Now, you don't know it at the time because, the proprietor looks like, a half-elf who's in middle age. But Arizon ends up turning out to be a half-silver, half-cloud dragon.
Whoa. And,
nobody in town knows this is who and what he is. All they know is that he's a shopkeeper, he's a good person and all this.
At least he doesn't want anyone messing with his pets, also known as the town.
Yeah.
But a dragon with dragon control potions is kind of interesting.
Well, because as it turns out, the history is that Arizon has an enemy who is I think a very old green dragon. Mm-hmm. I believe she's very old. I don't think she's ancient, but so there's basically just like this little kind of détente between the two of them, right. And if the green dragon has gets a wild hair up her backside, he comes out with the potions of dragon control and drives her away. That's basically what it is. And so the Naga, the dragon, I think, found out about these potions, got the Naga to charm the adventurers who went to his shop and stole the potions. Exactly.
How devious. I love it.
Yeah. So Arizon, of course, finds out where the potions are. He can't, because he's more or less the protector of this town, he can't leave. So he hires adventurers to go get them back.
Ooh.
And this is for character levels 4 to 7.
And this is both of them, or just the first one?
This is the first one.
Oh,
believe it or not. Okay. And so the characters, now they have a thing. Now they have an issue because Arizon tells them they were acting out of character for them. He had dealings with these adventurers before, and they were always good to him. So something's not right, and the party has to find out what.
This is awesome. Right. This gives you the potential to have the most horrible of fights, which is a player character versus NPC player character fight, which means it's the worst combination of possibilities of potential power, and it's a bad moral choice to kill them all.
Yes, exactly. It doesn't penalize the players if they just decide to kill the adventurers, but they give them double the experience points. They give them double the experience points if they capture
them.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Mm-hmm. So you've got like a dwarf, a halfling, a human fighter, and a 7th level mage.
It's the order of the stick.
Well, you know what? My whole thing was, I looked at this. The only problem I had was that there weren't enough adventures. I actually put in 2 more.
What kind of stuff did they run into?
Okay, on their way out there, just on their way there, they run into Paratons. Because they're on the roof of the keep.
Whoa.
And
Paratons are bad news.
Yeah, well, not for 4th to 7th level party, but they do make things a lot more interesting, let's say. So that's the first thing. Of course, you could throw in whatever random encounters you want to for them to be on their way there.
More Sturges!
Oh, God. Yes. We have variable swarm of them, like, say, 50.
Kobold minions of the dragon.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, scouts and whatnot. But another thing that happens is that the mage in the party is actually scrying on them as they come up to the ruined keep where the dragon, or the Naga is. I'm sorry, the Naga, not the dragon. And so the mage is just, using his spells as an adventurer would, to not only spy upon the PCs, but also to cast monster summoning spells to send at the PCs.
Oh wow! Who needs more random encounters? You got to hit this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then when you get into the place. When you get into the place, the first person that you run up against is a dwarven fighter, which is one of those who Arizon describes. And he basically, you basically find him and he's looking under a loose flagstone in the room. It's in the kitchen. So, he basically just, him and the human fighter, they basically set up an ambush.
Okay.
So, basically you're up against a 3rd level dwarven fighter and a 6th level human fighter. And so, there is your first dilemma, is that, okay, and they're kind of dangerous as fighters. I mean, the human fighter has specialization in the Morning Star, so he hits pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, now you got to figure out how you're going to capture them, if that's what in fact you do. Then you go through more of the adventure. You run into the mage who has a stone skin up. Because he knows the players, he knows the PCs are coming, so he has a stone skin up. There's a spell we need to talk about. Yeah, exactly. And from there, you also run into the best one is the halfling thief. He's basically in a this is hilarious. He's hiding in a barrel. That's the first thing. He's there's a barrel in there, and he's hiding in it, and he's got a wand of wonder.
Oh.
And he starts using it on the PCs. There's a hole in the barrel, just like in the old Warner Brother cartoons, and he just basically pokes the tip out of the hole, and he starts using it. Yeah.
Start firing it. Yeah. Oh, God.
That's
Kill
great.
that little guy.
Oh, dear.
Let's see. What else?
And this is just the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. Then you run into like a mustard jelly. God, that's hard. And then you run into some Urds. Speaking of kobolds from our last episode,
dropping rocks on you.
Yeah, basically throwing rock bombs at you. Then gremlins.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's not like they're hard, but they're difficult to get to. So that's the challenge there. Mm-hmm.
They're annoying.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. They're annoyances.
Okay. Let's go on to the second one. Dragon Weir. What's that all about?
Oh, well, just to end the first one.
I'm sorry.
After all that, then you'd get to the Naga, and then it's more of a straight up fight, unless of course.
Are you going to end up fighting the Green Dragon?
No, actually, that's what the second one's about.
Oh.
This is Dragon Weir.
This is a part 2.
Yes, this is a sequel. This one is for character level 7 to 10. So this is more for if the characters like complete the first one, and Arizon knows that these PCs are reliable. He comes back like say about 6 months, a year later, and hires them for this. This one, this of course is another conflict between Toxin and Arizon. This time, This time, Toxin stole a pair of red dragon eggs and put them in the town. Hired some humanoids and hid them in town. And now, because Toxin, is being devious, she's like, okay, these red dragons are going to come to this town. They're going to burn it to the ground. Silvercloud's going to try and defend it, and they're either going to kill him, or he's going to be so hurt by the time this fight is over, I can just sweep in and kill him. Getting the red dragons basically to do her dirty work.
Right.
So, this time,
let me guess. The player characters have to find the eggs.
Oh yeah, they have to find the eggs. Then they have to do something to either get the red dragons to not burn the town to the ground, or to fight them, or do whatever. As a matter of fact, even though you don't know it yet, you run into a bunch of fur trappers, quote unquote, who have the dragon eggs, and they're going to the town.
Oh boy.
But the thing is that in the beginning, Arizon gives you this nice little magic item called the Crystal Claw, which detects dragon eggs. Or dragons or dragon eggs, and basically the claw will tell you, as the party's going around, they'll find that it starts to turn red, which says there's a red dragon within like 1 mile of the claw somewhere.
Right.
So they start looking around. They run into the trappers, who turn out to be weirboars.
I was going to say they're not who they seem.
No, they are not who they say they are. So, you know, it's actually a pretty good fight. And then from there, I think, from there you actually go to Toxin's lair, which is like an abandoned monastery. And from that point on, you can either fight and kill Toxin or use the potions of green dragon control that you got in the previous episode to, tell where the eggs are. That's what you're getting sent to do. You fight bugbears, ogre mages, brown
I've been looking at those encounters. This is a meat grinder. 3 ogre magi.
Yes.
3.
Yep.
Abishai.
Yep.
Earth Elemental.
Yeah.
Trapper.
Yes. Wraiths.
Yeah, Wraiths. Always good.
Yep.
To come at the end of the adventure when you're supposed to get ready to go against the BBEG and suddenly find out you're several levels down.
Mm-hmm. And the best part about this is at the end he goes into detail about, how the dragons react according to, how long the players take and if they were able to find the eggs in time. Right. Which is, I find that's pretty damn good to me.
Well, I don't know if this would be a campaign climax, but Toxin sure sounds like a good reoccurring bad guy.
Yeah, she's very manipulative, just like most green dragons are, has plenty of minions. Yeah, she's very old. Yeah, 18 hit dice, 103 hit points. So going up against her...
I said if that's not good enough, or they make a cakewalk of the dragon, always go for Scara, the green Abishai.
Yeah.
Nothing like getting an enmity of the demons and devils who want to play with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
their god better be strong, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So basically what happens if the players aren't quite in time and the dragons attack the town, basically Silvercloud takes form and basically drives them off, and the PCs find him basically, severely wounded, and that's how you figure out if they haven't found out before, that's how they figure out he's a dragon.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So
that's an incredible couple of adventures.
Yeah. I've been wanting to put an adventuring party through this ever since I got these 15 years ago.
Why would you want to do that? It sounds like a railroad.
Oh God.
No, why would you want to do that? It sounds like a meat grinder.
Well, yeah, it's a meat grinder, but yeah, I don't, this is that perfect example of how you have the options to get around. You have fixed goals that might be sequential, but the way you get to them, you can do a lot better. A whole lot.
Exactly. And
you can find.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this is more or less a timed adventure. If you dilly dally or if you're just way off on the wrong track or whatever, there are consequences like I was talking about last episode. If the players are too late, basically Arizon saves the town, but he's severely wounded in the process. Then from that point forward, it's up to the players as to what they do when they find out that he's a dragon.
Right.
Because they're not going to know right off, even though, quite honestly, his last name kind of gives it away.
Yeah.
That's like one of the few things I'd change about this pair of adventures. Change his name so, no PC who has anything on the ball would figure out, wait a minute, Silvercloud? This guy's got silver hair. Wait a minute. Yeah, because God only knows players make those kind of leaps of, jumping to conclusion all the time.
He is an elf. Yeah. He can get away with that as an elf.
He might. I just would rather not leave it to chance. I'd rather it be a complete surprise to the players, but that's just...
So if you can find those Dragon Annuals 1 and 2, those are worth getting.
Yeah, and there are other articles in those books that would make it even worth the expense, even more so.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And we recommend those. You've heard about them, give us a call. Give us an email at thacoshammer@gmail.com.
Yeah, if you've run them, let us know.
Throw the number up again.
405-806-0555.
All right. We have Google standing by.
Yes, our Google Voice operator is standing by to take your call.
Of course. Well, that closes Splat Book 27.
Yes, indeed.
And we're doing it again. We're just knocking these out. Pretty soon we're going to be coming up with our Halloween show, which is a special.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about Ravenloft.
Yes.
We're going to have DM Vince on, and possibly Ancient Gamer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he said that he's a
he is now he is now the third permanent host on RFI.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
That is right.
Oh.
So I'm going to try and get 2 of those August people on here so we can talk all about Ravenloft for Halloween.
Oh,
how does that sound, guys?
Yeah, that should.
It sounds like it will be an excellent evening for everyone. I'll bring the drinks.
Absolutely.
And I bet Papercut would like to hear this. We're actually going to get around after Halloween to be doing the THACO's Hammer giveaway.
Oh, yes.
We're going to come up with. We got a contest, and we're going to be giving away some monstrous manuals and a DM's guide.
Okay.
The second printing black books.
Okay. Yep. That's a good prize.
And and we'll be setting that up starting the beginning of next month.
Okay. So November 1st?
Roundabouts, first week.
Okay.
Okay. We'll announce it. Don't worry, we'll announce it on the show. Okay. Anyway, time to go, guys. Say goodbye, Brian.
Goodbye. Farewell. Until next we meet.
And take your Erd out of here. No.
Yeah, get that stinky-ass Erd out of here.
Milan, how about you?
I believe we've had a shocking good time.
Thank you, Mr. Lightning Bolt.
Fire.
Say goodbye.
I will see you guys later, Gamer Nation.
There you go. And me, I'm DM Glen, saying we'll see you next time when the hammer comes down and THACO's Hammer. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at thacoshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at thacoshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.